what up, people? This is the host of the most, Luca B. Selech, and welcome back to another episode from Big Boy Records. Today, we will be looking over the story of how Christopher George Latour Wallace, known as the Notorious B.I.G, changed Brooklyn, New York, with his music of storytelling. During the early 1990s, racial profiling was becoming a problem since many police officers would assume that black people were gang members or think that they were other hip-hop artists. Anyone like the Notorious B.I.G that made rap music were immediately profiled as low-class, violent, and gang-related individuals, while all he was doing was making songs about his early life and peers that grew up living in the projects. Many who were at a disadvantage from having jobs and an education due to financial struggles. Priorities for many of these young men, who were minorities, were to help provide for their families, like the country songs about struggles that Biggie often listened to. He was also storytelling about his life as a young man. During his rap group, Junior Mafia, Wallace's ex-girlfriend, Lil' Kim, would become a vocal singer for the group during the early 1990s. During 1996, when the group released their album Hardcore, the album was able to gain popularity from her vocals and unapologetic lyrics. She was known for being the queen of hip-hop music, since Biggie inspired her. She had won a Grammy Award in 2002 when she worked with other artists such as Christina Aguilera, Pink, and Maya. She also influenced new generation hip-hop artists such as Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and Nicki Minaj. Other hip-hop artists were good friends with Biggie was Sean Combs, who was known as a stage name Diddy or Puff Daddy. He would collab with Biggie in some of his famous albums, but was best known for being in Biggie's music video, Hypnotized in 1992, from his album Life After Death. He was the founder of Bad Boy Records with other artists such as Biggie, Mary J. Blige, and Usher. He created a clothing brand called Sean John and won Fashion Designers of America Award. However, over the years, Diddy's career started to go downhill when he was accused of raping and abusing his ex-girlfriend in November 2023. Soon more allegations would start to come in of accusing him of sex trafficking and gang rape, which would lead to the rapper's home getting raided by Homeland Security in March of this year. He was arrested on charges of sex trafficking charges in September of this year. Diddy has a trial that is set to be happening on May 5th of next year in 2025. Due to these issues and allegations, the rapper's reputation and career in music is now over. Notorious B.I.G was born in Brooklyn, New York, in the projects. He starts rapping about his neighborhood and community. His lyrics and music bring him fame. He worked with Bad Boy Records, bringing him fame around the world. He also worked with Tupac Shakur and collabed with him in his songs. His success led to his death due to the music industry. Rappers who were friends became enemies and were put in dangerous situations that led to Biggie's death. After Biggie's death, the music industry shifted to not create rivalries. The police would be exposed of their injustice crime. His legacy continued impacting people all over the world. His music lives on forever. His story is not forgotten. The history and timeline of Biggie taught people how music could inspire or end lives. He has worked with so many great hip-hop artists and inspired them, such as Puff Daddy, Lil' Kim, Junior Mafia, Jay-Z, Faith Evans, and Tupac Shakur. Rapper Jay-Z was influenced by Biggie's lyrics of storytelling and the flow of music, that it would lead him to use the exact idea of using storytelling and going with the flow of his music and his songs. Kendrick Lamar is another rapper that was also influenced by Biggie's inspiration of storytelling and used storytelling in some of his wild rap songs. Rick Ross is a well-known rapper who would be inspired by Biggie's personal life and lyrics of his life story. This led to him using Biggie's inspiration in his songs and even would talk about his own personal life in his songs. After his death on March 9, 1997, it affected many artists around the world, but also many people in Brooklyn, New York. He had made a change to hip-hop music for the better and inspired other artists with his storytelling in his songs, and explains the struggles of how life was in the projects for him. He was also known for his tempo and his music he would make when rapping his songs and making the flow gentle. Biggie also got to work with other famous artists like Tupac Shakur, who was a West Coast rapper, but was also good friends with Biggie until they had some disagreements and stopped working with each other. Despite the West Coast and East Coast having rivalries between music and gangs, Biggie's music was able to appeal to all of the people in New York City and around the world. He was even able to start a record company called Bad Boy Records with his wife Faith Evans and P. Diddy. Biggie's collaborations with his group members would make the use of sampling melodies and beats were successful. Biggie's music is still listened to even to this day, that most modern hip hop artists would even use his samples from his music and would even give him a reference in their songs. The new generation of hip hop music are still inspired with his music and storytelling in his songs, and people around the world still love his music to this day, and his legacy will never be forgotten, and he will always be in our hearts. Anyway, this is your host of the most, Luca B. Salach, and we would like to thank you all again for listening to another episode of Hip Hop News from Big Boy Records. Coming up next is Ice Cube's new album, It's My Ego, breaking the charts and how he's coming back to make more rap music.